The testing. Hi. Despite what I'm holding, this is still not the M249 gun guide.
Why are you crying?
Though I did just write and voice and film all the footage for it, so it should be coming very soon. That being said, while I was going to sit down and edit the video, like, a very impactful thing, you know, just happened in my life. And I sort of like to take this stuff seriously when, you know, something comes along, and I just had to put the channel on pause because when, like, these monumental things, like, I just can't, like, make videos, you know, like, something happens and it's like, you know, you lose loved ones, you maybe have to go look for new employment, and sometimes, you know, the new Batman movie comes out. And sometimes when, you know, just things like that, these normal things happen, like you have to take a minute and you have to step back and you have to reevaluate, like, your entire being. And, you know, I just saw Batman and I just feel like I just wanted to talk about it. It was at this point that I did, like, this massive sort of, like, rant of like aimlessly talking about whatever came to my mind. I realized that, like, that's not as interesting as I thought it was. Like, the more I think about, like, everything that I covered, and I can't just sort of like I know it's funny if I'm like drunkenly rambling about, like, Batman, but, like, I had to, like, try to, like, articulate why. And I was thinking analytically about it, and, like, how do I break down, like, why I like this so much? And I guess I'm gonna cut in some of the other footage in this in my jump around, because the magic of editing can make me look like a sort of organized, like, sane human being when it comes to, like, my train of thought. But when I think about, like, why this movie is so good, the first thing I would start with isn't even, like, the director or the actors. This score is done by a guy named Michael Giacchino. And if you don't know who Michael Giacchino is, I don't blame you, because he's not like one of those people who everyone knows. He's not like that. Who's the dude who does all of Christopher Nolan soundtracks? You know, that guy who's like, shit, where is he? Okay, I had to go Google it. He's not like Hans Zimmer, and he's not like John Williams, right? Where he's just done, like, these, like, this one movie that, like, absolutely earned his name of, like, this guy's, like, the shit, right? Like, Michael Giacchino. You fucking bitch, I bet you're in here. Michael Giacchino is behind movies, the soundtracks for movies such as Super 8, shows like Fringe, Lost, basically anything that J.J. Abrams' name is attached to, all of that's Michael Giacchino. Michael Giacchino has done the Mission Impossible soundtracks. He's done the soundtracks for the new Jurassic Parks, which, like, the movies, but, like, the actual soundtracks are fantastic. He has done the music for Rogue One, which in my opinion is one of the greatest soundtracks ever. And he has a way of, if you really study what this guy does, he has a way of taking the original soundtrack for something. Like, there's this great video, I'll probably link it, about, like, what he did for Rogue One, and he basically took the original Star Wars soundtrack and just put it in minor key. And that's what he did for the Batman, except he did it for this, in Mission Impossible, he did it for this piece called, I want to say the piece is this opera piece by the great soprano, Pavarotti, I hope I'm saying that right.
Luciano Pavarotti.
It was, Nessun Dorma is being performed in one of the scenes of Mission Impossible. I hesitated. I don't even know why I hesitated there. He did this in Mission Impossible. There's a scene where they're at the opera and Nessun Dorma's being performed, and that's what he goes with. Like, there's, like, an underkey of Nessun Dorma for, like, the entirety of the fifth Mission Impossible, which was, like, fantastic. He did the Star Wars theme in minor key, and he did something similar with this one. He did Ave Maria, and Ave Maria, actually, the piece has a plot significance, which I don't feel like I need to discuss. If you've seen the movie, you understand. If you don't, I don't want to spoil a lot of it. It's like the Riddler's theme is Ave Maria in a minor key. And like Ave Marie is also just like directly like shown and also played in certain bits, and it's like beautiful. Like and not to mention the trailer soundtrack, which you hear and like is like ground into my head, just like all of the work that he does, everything down to like the fucking Disney special called Prep and Landing that had that soundtrack that's absolutely just like never going to leave my psyche after watching it once in like 2014. Everything that man does just like has a way of like cementing itself into my mind, because it's like you hear those soundtracks and like, oh, it's this movie. Like, and I don't know if like I don't know if knowing his name is the same amount of credit you can give for like his work being so recognizable. Like, you listen to Up, like everyone knows the Up soundtrack. Like, that's Michael Giacchino. Like, that's Michael Giacchino's work.
Hey yo, dead ass G, my bad pimp. That's just what happened when you a motherfucking real ass boss, real motherfucking player, G.
So like everyone knows his work precedes him, man. Shit, I don't even know where that was. Let's look at Matt Reeves. I recognize the name Matt Reeves. I had to Google it. He actually hasn't done like a whole bunch. He worked on the Cloverfield, like the original from 2008. He directed the Cloverfield Paradox, which is like a yikes. But he also did like War of the Planet of the Apes, and I think that one of the other Planet of the Apes movies. Not all three of them, I don't think. But like that was like really well done. And like I don't know. I don't know if he's done like anything iconic before this point, but now you can certainly say like Matt Reeves, dude, like that dude can direct a movie. I don't know who wrote it. I'd have to do like more research, and obviously like whoever wrote it, maybe he had a part in it. They did really well. They were a fan of the comics, man, and I think Matt Reeves definitely, like, the director had to have some hand in like being like so good at like getting Batman right. And the other guy, you know, moving into the cast, the other guy that had a really good way of getting it right. And I'll talk about more of this in some of my clips that I actually thought were good. The guy, Robert Pattinson.
I lost the word.
I'm just trying to think of Christopher Nolan, because I'm like a fucking Christopher Nolan fanboy. Yeah, no. Oh, Robert Pattinson. I haven't seen Robert Pattinson a lot. I've seen him. I know he's in Twilight. Everyone takes a dump on the poor fucking guy who was just like trying to become like an actor at the time. He was great in. I thought he was great in Harry Potter, despite like having like, I don't know, like 4 scenes maybe, and eating shit like directly after. I quite liked Robert Pattinson in that. But when I saw Tenet, and knowing he was Batman at the time, when I saw Tenet, I was like, this is the guy. I just sort of thought like this guy could probably be Batman. And with that limited, like having so little expectations. Again, one of the themes of this video is like I had so little expectations. Like it could have just been like he could have been like a mediocre Batman. I still would have been blown away by that movie. Like, I don't even know if that hit that guy. The Robert Pattinson is Batman, man. Like, dude, like, duh. I especially like the way like. It's hard to be Batman and tie that to Bruce Wayne, and the way that he did it, like Christian Bale is a more grown-up Bruce Wayne, right? Like he's been in the world for a long time. His parents been dead for a long time. Robert Pattinson's like younger. He's like just starting to be, like he's not the same way in Batman Begins. He's like more of a kid, I guess. Like he didn't know that much about his parents. He's not invested in their company, like. But you know, like. I don't know, like something about the way those two come together. The way he's Batman in one scene and he's talking to Falcone, the next is Bruce Wayne, and this guy has no idea, but you can like throughout that entire scene, you're like, this is Batman. Like he's talking to Batman. Like that Bruce Wayne is not Batman. Batman is Bruce Wayne. And even the Riddler says it, dude. And the way he portrayed that was so on point. The way Andy Serkis, who's absolutely my man, Andy Serkis, a phenomenal actor. Why is it like every movie I see with Andy Serkis having no expectations, being oh hey, it's Andy Serkis? It's just like now I'm like every time I see Andy Serkis, I'm just gonna be like Andy Serkis movie, because like and like the Marvel when he's like Ulysses Claw in like Age of Ultron, he has like one scene and the dude steals the show from 3 very talented actors.
Everybody's afraid of something.
Cuttlefish. Deep sea fish. They make lights, disco lights, to hypnotize their prey, and then I saw a documentary. It was terrifying.
Steals the show. Black Panther. Best part of Black Panther was the first act where he's the bad guy, in my opinion.
Hey, come here. Come here, come here. It's okay. You can go, but just don't tell anyone, all right?
Not because he's the only white dude. Shut the fuck up. But I don't know. Andy Serkis is Alfred. Like, and it must be so hard to be Alfred when Michael Caine exists. You know? Like, when Michael Caine for 3 movies, especially in the last one, just completely blows through all expectations. And then you get Andy Serkis. Here's exactly why Andy Serkis works as Alfred, and is like my other, like, one of my favorite parts about that movie. Is because in like Batman versus Superman, it's like Alfred's Alfred and you can tell Alfred is Alfred, but at no point does Zack Snyder give that actor, whoever he is, who was great, like the time to be like Alfred. There was no like Alfred scenes for that. It was just like, it's Alfred. Alfred's gonna say like Alfred things, and he's gonna act like Alfred. He's gonna like deliver exposition. But like Andy Serkis was given scenes, man, like the cufflinks. Everything between the way he like talked about the cufflinks from his dad and like the sudden significance of it. I was like talking to my friend and I missed like half the line, but then my colleague at the bar was like, he's like, this is Thomas Wayne gave me these cufflinks. Like that just caught me off guard. Like I was so like caught up in that line. I was just like, that's beautiful. This isn't like a humorous video. This really is me talking about Batman. Like I hope you understand. Like I take this very seriously. Like I take Batman very seriously and I love Alfred, right? The other scene obviously where he's talking to him about like what actually like the truth about shit. The truth where he's like actually talking about like this is how the town was like after Falcone. Like the two conflicting perspectives. I liked how the movie kind of left it open into like I sort of feel like they were both telling half truths and idealisms about like how they are versus how the other guy is and what the truth about his parents' death were, but I don't really know. The other main person, I guess, aside from like the villains, Zoe, I had to look up her name because when I first delivered this, I was like, I forgot her name was, bless her heart, Zoe Kravitz. I don't think I've seen her in Zoe Kravitz. She was like, as Catwoman, I think she was like, this is not saying like it's saying a lot when I say that she's like the weakest character. She's still like a massive, this like just iconic character. And I don't know, I thought she did okay. I think Anne Hathaway, that was her name. I forgot it last time. Anne Hathaway was a better Catwoman, but like is Anne Hathaway. I don't think Zoe Kravitz, whatever her name is, like, I'm not sure how many movies she's done, but Anne Hathaway is like everything between like The Princess Diaries and like Les Miserables can deliver like any performance whatsoever. Like you give her the script and she's just gonna be like, oh yeah, like I am now this character, like down to the T, like regardless of like the circumstances. Like that's Anne Hathaway. But and I think her Catwoman was great, and I don't know, I don't have anything against the Catwoman in this movie. It's just like she is what she is, and that's like it was kind of like Aaron Eckhart's Two-Face being what would otherwise be like an absolute show stealer. Fuck! That was absurd. It's kind of like Aaron Eckhart's Two-Face being like what would otherwise be like a show stealing, like show stopping villain, right? But then you put him like next to Heath Ledger, and it's like, who is this guy, right? It was like that. It was like you can only have so many knockout performances before someone gets forgotten. She's great. I don't know, but it's like the Riddler, the Penguin, like she was of the three, like I don't know. I don't wanna. Okay, yeah, that was like a losing fight. But like, let's talk about the Riddler, man. Like the idea that like, I like the idea that the Riddler was like, the way they executed it, where it's like, who's the Riddler? Like you don't see his face, you hear his voice, you see him in the mask, but like, who's the Riddler, man? And then it's revealed, it's like, I don't know if I'm supposed to recognize the dude. I don't remember what his name is, because I had to look it up. I haven't seen him in anything, I don't think. But I like that. It's like, I remember when like Force Awakens was like considered to be a good movie. People have moved on from that, I guess. But like when Adam Driver takes off his helmet, and it's like Adam Driver. Like at what point in like his career, like there was like no one knew who Adam Driver was. He takes off his helmet. It's like, who is this guy? Like you don't have no expectations for like. It's not like George Clooney takes off the helmet. It's like Darth Vader's George Clooney or some shit, right? Like it's Adam Driver. It's like, okay, like the villain's some guy. He could be anyone, right? That's how I felt about the Riddler. That dude is so good. That dude is so good, dude. Like he really just like captivated like me in general. Like I don't know. I would watch the movie because it's hard to put it in words, specifically his performance. Like everyone else is like the Penguin is like he's the Penguin. Like he's like a mob boss. You've seen him in 100 movies and he never gets old. Like, that was such a great scene. They like leave him in cuffs like waddling around. I just got a double spray with that. I don't know. That was great. Right? No, that's not gonna kill me. I'm behind debris. Okay. Oh, that might kill. No, never mind. That's botched. No. Someone's on this point. Okay, we got it. But like you've seen him in like his banter's good. I don't know who plays the Penguin. I feel like I recognize him. It's hard to tell under all like the makeup and stuff because I feel like his face is like. I hope his face doesn't look like that. Like whatever like happened, that must be horrible. But I think he has makeup. He had like the Penguin's like a guy, a mobster in the crew, and Catwoman's like a girl down on her luck who has like a particular set of skills or whatever. I'm imagining Liam Neeson in like a tight like leather jumper. That's not exactly what I was trying to go for there. But like the Riddler's is something new. He's like the Zodiac killer. He's like Ted Cruz. It's like this sort of icon, but it's like you don't really understand him. And his performance specifically was just so like, yeah, you know, yeah. Okay, he's dead. And I don't know, like as for the casting, like, I don't know who plays Gordon. He did great. I don't think he's as good. I don't think he's nearly as good as the guy who did Gordon the Dark Knight trilogy. I don't know, it's like a different level because there's more context to it. I don't think Gordon was given like enough scenes to be Gordon. He doesn't like get dinner with the family. He doesn't get like. I like the scenes where like we gotta get out of here, man. Like that was such a great line. That was such a great scene when like absolutely like sucker punches Gordon, who had like absolutely no chance. That was so funny to me. Oh, there's a woman over there. Like I thought he was great. As for like the scene execution, man, what about that scene with if there was one scene I could take out of that movie and just have it, just like the feeling of the scene, it's obviously the Batmobile, the chase. Like that creates one scene in that movie. It's like the Batman Begins when they're like Morgan Freeman, Mr. Fox, which is a character that sadly didn't make it into this movie. Morgan Freeman goes,
The tumbler? Oh, you wouldn't be interested in that.
but like that was such a great scene. You're an idiot. Anyway, but like that scene was so fantastic. Like and like that they somehow followed up on the tumbler, the freaking bat tank, and they follow up on that with like this 1960s Chevrolet Dodge Charger looking like thing on like a giant suspension cage, I guess. I don't know much about cars. And it's like this, like I know the Tumbler is a tank, but like the car in the movie, like this movie, acts like one. Like it's straight up like a tank. Like the way it goes to the cement, like the cement like pipe that's like tall as you, like rolls off the truck and like plows through it.
All game to find me, bitch.
When the way that scene opens, when like it's kind of like haha, like
gas chamber at the end of the round, but I didn't hear any fucking explosives.
the bit where it's like it's so like because it starts like the scene opens where it's like okay, drug bust, like Batman's sitting here watching the warehouse, like oh, all of a sudden Catwoman's here, she's like stealing the money, and the way he sneaks up on her again, and like they're just talking, like they're talking smack or whatever, and she's like, oh, we gotta get out of here, like I don't want to lead to anyone, man, and like she's first bag zips open, money, okay. And they keep talking. Second bag zips open, money, and like they're at like a point of conversation. She's like, screw you, Batman, or whatever. Like, third bag zips open, woman, and it's like, oh shit, that you just forget that the movie's like pushing the boundary between like PG-13 and R, and it's like, oh, that was so out of pocket. It was like so out of left field where that like hits you, and you can even see like she had an obvious reaction because it was like her friend, but like Robert Pattinson, like one of the great, like that was probably one of the best moments of his acting, was like you can see his eyes widen, and he's like, when Batman goes like, oh shit, like, you know, it's like something bad happened, man. And it's like, that was like, there's the scene opens with that, and then like all of a sudden gunfire, Batman gets absolutely like mag dumped, and you think he's like dead, Gordon's like shooting people, and all of a sudden out of nowhere, like Penguin's like, I got you, like with his gun, he's like coming around the car's like, come out here, vengeance. And it's like the Bat car, like the Batman. Here's how you know this scene's. Here's how you know it's iconic. Batman. How many names does Batman have? He has like a dozen names: Cape Crusader, The Dark Knight, Batman, World's Greatest Detective. Batman's car has one name. Batman, the vehicle that Batman drives around in, goes by one name total, and that's the Batmobile, and you better remember it. And that movie did such a great job of being like, hey, it's a bat. When that engine comes on, that blue light, and that the rocket powers up, and you hear the noise. If you like this is if you somehow haven't seen Batman, stop watching. Like if you're still like, I don't care about spoilers, go watch this in the theaters. That scene you will never forget in your entire life. The noise where it's just like, oh, I don't even know. But like the movie is like, it does a pretty good job at like not eat shit. The movie does like a pretty good job of like not showing you. I can't finish the sentence without these assholes like gunning me down. Is it enabled? Yeah, so this is Snipes. It has been a minute. I have been pouring through all of this footage, which frankly was recorded a little before when you probably think this was. These don't just kind of apparate within a day. I have now watched The Batman twice since I have recorded this. A few things have happened. For instance, they've released extra scenes like the one with the Joker, which I have seen, and I'm a very large fan of. I know the movie was pushing 3 hours, but I genuinely feel like had they included that specific scene, I would have liked the movie more if it was possible. And not really to jump the gun like all the people who said that Jared Leto was going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread, and you know how that turned out. But I really am excited to see this interpretation play out. He's very interesting. He's very creepy. They got the look, at least what you can see of it, quite right. As a guy who's been burnt by acid, they've got the entire feeling of someone who, with even minimal contact, has a very intimate understanding of who Batman is, even if he doesn't know who Batman is. I'm very excited to see where they go with this. I was sort of, that 5 minutes just sitting down and watching that had me very captivated, and I was right back in the theater. And I'd like to go. Honestly, I'm probably going to go watch it again because one of my friends is, looking to see it and has not yet. I have to basically wrap this video up because this will now have been the longest video that I've ever published ever. Like, think about that. I am talking about Batman. So basically, if you enjoyed this video, if you are, dare say, a Batman enjoyer, I highly recommend you like the video. If this is the first video of mine that you have seen, I'm sorry. I don't think you deserved this experience. You could look at the rest of my channel, but like virtually nothing else will be related to this. But yeah, for the like I think we had like, because I said last video we had one last person watching at the end. I think we've gone up to like a good maybe anywhere between like 3, 4, even 5, dare I say, maybe 5 people watching to the end of this video. So if you're one of those handful of legends, you can keep it to yourself, because really if you comment, I'm just not going to pay attention.